Welcome to another week in the Foster Fantasy Football League. This week's results: Opposition Force gets its second win over Not It's. The Leathernecks get their first win over Tough Juice. Dirty Rotten Imbecile, Spike Punch, and Munchkin Butt Shavers also claim victories this week. This week's top 5 scorers: Santana Moss with Spike Punch, Steve Smith for the Dirty Rotten Imbeciles, Roddy White and the Ravens defense both with Monkey Butt Shavers, and the Leathernecks Brian Westbrook. Total points this week: all the points on a team's bench and its active players. Spike Punch 166 points, Dirty Rotten Imbeciles 159 points, and Opposition Force 159 points. This week's highest score: Monkey Butt Shavers 135.7 points. They won their game by 32.98 points. The lowest score this week: Team P 50 points, losing by 26.72. This week's Zero Heroes: the Dirty Rotten Imbeciles claimed this week's title with 4 zeros. They actually managed to squeak out a win over Team P. This week's sidekicks: Tough Juice and Team P, each with 3 zeros. Total points accumulated by the bench that could have been in the game: Dirty Rotten Imbeciles 82.74, The Elitist 49.2, Spike Punch 48.22. On the flip side of that, the bench burners, the people on the bench that cost their owners points. Anquan Bolden leads this week for the Dirty Rotten Imbeciles, 21 points lost. The Giants defense for the Elitists, 16 points lost. Team P losing 15.56 with Chad Pennington. Spike Punch losing 13 points with the Cowboys defense. And Dirty Rotten Imbeciles closing out the list, losing 11 points with the Dolphins defense. After last week's action, we find the Elitists still atop the league as the best division winner by a scant margin of 0.8 points. Tacoma Park is close behind. Spike Punch is also tied at 6-2, but has lost to Tacoma Park twice this year. They were swept by their division rival, so Tacoma Park has that edge over Spike Punch. Monkey Butt Shavers is one game behind those leading three. And they are tied at 5-3. They are in a tie-breaking victory scenario versus Dirty Rotten Imbeciles. They beat Dirty Rotten Imbeciles this year, so as long as they're tied, Monkey Butt has the edge. Not It's fell to 4-4. Tough Juice 3-5. Opposition Force moved up to 8. They are about 127 points ahead of Team P, both at 2-6. And the Leathernecks, one game behind those two at 1-7. Now versus last week, we can see there's not too much change at the top. No change at the top. A little change in our middle region. This gray region represents upcoming contenders, people on the verge of being down here in the losing group, and people in the playoffs. This week, Monkey Butt at Not It's, Team P at Leathernecks, Tacoma Park at Thunder Receipt at Tough Juice, Dirty Rotten at Elitist, Spike Punch at O-Force. Tacoma Park and Spike Punch could each lead the division depending on who loses. See you next week in the Foster Fantasy Football League.